Hello everyone, my name is Vimal Raj. I'm a lecturer from Thames Polytechnic College from Mechanical Department. Today we're going to discuss on the same subject, that is Mechanical Engineering Materials, that is 1625304 according to the SPT syllabus. Today we're going to look into the unit number 2, ferrous metals and alloys. So this is lecture number 9. And today we're going to see on the classification of part 2. This is a continuation part from the previous video. The content for today's video could be classification of steel, high carbon steel and medium carbon steel. So first we're going to see about medium carbon steel. So what is a medium carbon steel? Medium carbon steel is nothing but wherein which the carbon ratio percentage would be 0.3 to 0.6. So that is called as the medium carbon steel. The carbon ratio differs comparatively on a different manner than the low carbon steel. So because there should be some difference, right? Because in order to show the difference, the carbon ratio will be coming into play, so that you can understand easily that how much carbon is being shifted over it. So a medium carbon steel have a 0.3 to 0.6 percentage carbon. Increased carbon means increased hardness and tensile strength, decreased ductility and more difficult machining. So these is can be heat treated, austenizing, quenching and then tampering. So this can be done with a heat treatment, and most often used in tempered condition, so in which tempered martensite is used. This medium carbon steels have low hardenability. Because why low hardenability? Because the carbon ratio. Addition of chromium, nickel, molybdenum improves the heat treating capacity. The percentage of chromium, nickel and molybdenum will be more than the low carbon steel. Heat treated alloys are stronger but have lower ductility. Because the carbon percentage in this medium carbon steel is more, because of that reason only the percentage ratio will be more, because that's the reason. Because of that, the ductility is very less. Next one is typical applications like railway wheels, tracks, gears and camshaft are used. So basically this medium carbon steel has this kind of typical applications that we're going to see. It is bright fibrous structure when fractured. Basically ductility is not there, the ductility is very less. So when it tends to do some deformation, when it's been given external pressure or tensile force is given, or when it's tried to be elongated, it obviously will break. Fracture will be happening. So when the fracture happens, so it will be bright fibrous structure, because we all know what the steel color of the steel is. And next one is the tough and more elastic in comparison to wrought iron. This is something very tough, because the hardenability will be more, because the carbon content present in this steel will be 0.3 to 0.6, so which is comparatively have a good tensile strength, and it can be easily forged, or it can be easily welded, elongated due to ductility. Okay, good malleability is there in this medium carbon steel. The tensile strength is better than cast iron and wrought iron. Compressive strength is better than wrought iron but lesser than cast iron. The compressive strength also is there, wherein which it can withstand this compressive load when it is being given a compressive strength, which is better than the wrought iron but lesser than the cast iron. The composition of some alloyed medium carbon steels are like this. So these are designation 10xs plain carbon. So these are the things. So this plain carbon steel is, you all know that these steels, these steels usually are iron with less than 1% carbon. So basically, these steels will have less than 1% of carbon. So it will not exceed more than 1%. So plus small amount of manganese, phosphorus, sulfur, silicon. So the weldability and other characteristics of these steels are primarily a product of carbon content. Although these alloying and residual elements do have a minor influence. The plain carbon steels are classified like this. Okay. These are some of the applications. Applications could be steel having carbon 0.3%, 3024 like 0.4% axle, special duty shafts, connecting rods, forgings, machinery steels, spring clips, turbines, rotors, gear shafts, keystocks, forks and bolts. And some of the other applications could be steels having carbon which is 0.45 to 0.6%, railway coach axles, crank pins, crankshaft axles, spline shafts, and loco tires are the other things. Basically, these medium carbon steel have some good strength because the carbon content is more, right? So because of that, they use it in different. I mean, that even the railway coach axles. Axles is nothing but the axle that connects the two wheels of the axles. Crank pins, which is a very critical parts that is used in the equipments. In the machines, because these are the critical parts wherein which can be used in order to get uh, a good durability. The next one that we're gonna see is about the high carbon steel. So high carbon steel, which will have a percentage about 0.6 to 1.4 percentage, and high carbon content provides high hardness and strength, hardest and least ductile. So basically, these high carbon steel will have more carbon content. So when carbon content increases, automatically the ductility will decrease. So deforming shape, if suppose the particular metal steel is being deformed, it might tend to break because of the less ductility. So used in hardened and tempered conditions. So basically, this can be used in hardened and tempered conditions. That means it can be used in a area where in which more strength is required, more hardness is required. So in those categories, we can go down. We can use this high carbon steel and tempered conditions. Strong carbide forms like chromium. These things are added as an alloying element to form carbides and these metals. So with these percentage, these steels can be challenging to weld, preheating, post-heating to control cooling rate, and sometimes even heating during welding becomes necessary to produce acceptable welds and to control the mechanical property of the steel after welding. So used as a tool and die steels owing to the high hardness and wear resistance property. So basically these are the important things. Okay, so and this very high carbon steel are used for hard steel products such as metal cutting. Also they will use this like truck springs, like high carbon steel. They require heat treating before, during and after welding to maintain their mechanical property. So in order to have that, they need to be hardened and tempered. I mean, they should have been heat treated. Some of the applications, that is HCC containing 0.7 to 0.8%, that is typically for making cold, chill, drill bits, wrenches, wheels for railway service, jaws for vices, structural wires, shear blades, automatic clutches, discs, hacksaws, etc. So steel containing 0.8 to 0.9% possess hardness of about 500 to 600 brittle hardness number. So this steel is used for making rock drills, punches, dies, rail clutch discs, circular saws, lead springs, machine, chisels, music wires. Steel containing 0.90 to 1% carbon is also known as high carbon tool steel, and it possesses hardness of 550 to 600 brittle hardness number. Such steel is used for making punches, dies, springs, keys, and other shear blades. Steel containing 1 to 1.1% is used for making railway springs, mandrels, tapes, balls, pins, tools, thread metal dies. So steel containing 1.1 to 1.2% is used for making taps, twist drills, thread dies, knives, etc. So this steel containing 1.2 to 1.3% carbon is used for making files, reamers, dies for wire drawing, saws for cutting steel, tools for turning chilled iron. So see how many varieties are there, how many percent, even a small 1%, 0.1%, there are different applications are there. So that means the hardness, I mean the content of carbon that is present in the steel is very important, because that differentiates how much hard this material can be, and how much hard this material can work, how the hardenability is there, how the ductility is there, how it can withstand for more tensile pressure. All those things are done for this, the basic 0.1 percentage. So that shows how the steel is working. So there are different types of steels with a different uh, percentage. So you could see that HCC containing 0.8% has different types of application. Steel containing 0.8 to 0.9 having different types of different brittle hardness there, and content which is having 0.9 to 1% having a different brittle hardness. Steel containing 1 to 1 is having a different brittle hardness, and when which it can be used in different types. Okay, this is a composition and application of some tool steels. Basically, this is a number M1, there is a UMS number, as T11301, when which is like carbon content, chromium, nickel, molybdenum, all those things. The typical application is drills, saws, lathe, and planer tools. And this is the A2 material, in which the unit number is given as T Tango 30102. Then is the composition 1 5.15, nickel maximum 0.3, molybdenum is 1.15, and the uses are punches, embossing, dies. And D2 is T30402 1.5, chromium is 12, 0.30 max, 0.95, molybdenum, and it's used for cutlery, drawing dies. And O1, which is given as number of T31501, carbon as 0.95, chromium 0.50, and is used as a shear blades, cutting tools, etc. And S1 is another composition in which having a carbon of 0.50, 1.40 as chromium, nickel maximum is 30 only, 0.30, and molybdenum is 0.50 is the maximum. Weightage, the uses are pipe cutters, concrete drills, and W1 is another type of application when which is being used in the unit number as P72301, and the carbon content would be 1.10, which is having a blacksmith tools. This is structural steel. So these structural steels are nothing but which is having a process high strength and toughness. Basically, these steels will have high toughness because the concentration of carbon will be more in that. Next one, it has a resistance to softening at elevated temperature. So it can resist softening when the temperature elevates, and it can resist to corrosion also. So it's a corrosion resistance. So this is one of the important thing. Process weldability, workability, and high hardenability. So principal alloying elements like chromium, nickel, manganese, these are the principal alloying elements for this structural steels. So these are applications of structural steels. So they are used for structural members of bridges, building rails, railroad cars, etc. They are also used for manufacturing components subject to the static and dynamic loads. So these components include valves, pipes, studs, gears, clutches, bushes, etc. So see, in order to make some building railroads, now they use this steels. See, for our building construction and all, we use this steel only. So this steel, which is having a high toughness and strength. So basically, these steels will have this toughness, so that even after for a decade, it will not break. The building will have the durability. So that's the reason. In order to make some bridges and all, they use this type of steels, which is having more carbon content in it. Okay. With this, we have come to the conclusion. So today we discussed about the various types of steels, and we also studied about the medium carbon steel and high carbon steel. So with this, we have come to the conclusion. So these are a reference book. If you have any doubts, you can refer these books. And, thank you guys. Thank you for listening to this video. So this is lecture number 9. Thank you guys.